again, we're not rooting for people to be fired on this show. We want Kliff to do well. We like Kliff Kingsbury, but we are in agreement that this is a must win. And I think I put together something. This is not anything fancy, and hopefully that we can get a graphic made here if it comes to it. But now I think officially Sean Payton watch potentially being on here after this weekend if they lose. I'm going to say we're on pre-watch right now. But if they lose to the Seahawks on Sunday at home, you can sign me up. The Payton watch is on. What do we need to do? Get people on the phone. Sorry, Kliff. Give me my Super Bowl champion head coach.
I feel like we're on a 24/7 news channel, and they're like, this is severe inclement.
That's the only thing that matters. I don't care about any transactions or anything else. That's the only thing I care about.
What are you right now willing to give up for Sean Payton?
First round pick. I would go to New Orleans.
I mean, if they have as bad of a season to fire Kliff, that's going to be a pretty damn good pick.
Sean Payton with Kyler Murray, the rest of the roster takes care of itself. Remember, Sean Payton was suspended. They lost draft picks because, the hit job on Kurt Warner and a bunch of other guys, and they still went to NFC championship games. And I think the Cardinals, by the way, have a playoff-worthy roster. Do they have holes? Yes, we're going to talk about it. But we're also going to play a game in our third segment. The Cardinals have a superior roster to Seattle, and I don't think it's particularly close. Do they have the right man in charge? So if it's us and the Chargers, and we're trying to do a deal, right? And the New Orleans Saints come to the Cardinals and say, you got to up the ante. The Chargers picks in the 20s or in the late teens. Mm-hmm. Shit, here you go. Here's the 9th overall pick. Give me Sean Payton for the next 10 to 15 years. I as much as I would love, I think he'll coach for 10 or 15 more years. Don't you?
He already
looks good.
No, I don't think.
No,
I mean, I think it'd be like a BA, 2013, like probably like a 5-year.
Hang on. You see him on that Netflix movie? He looks good. He is. Sean Payton's
that's offensive. He looks better than Kevin James.
Sean Payton's 58. BA when he took the job was 60. So, but BA coached in Tampa, so we've added some years. I think you get Sean Payton for 10 years. 10 years of Sean Payton with Kyler Murray. Stop! Don't do that. I'm trying to get excited. He's 58. He's in LA.
He's gold. Sexy like BA. No, I mean there's a lot of wear and tear.
58 in Arizona is like 45.
Remember too, like I know what the finished product was with him in New Orleans, right? And they were a wagon for a while, and you could kind of pencil them in for 12 to 13 wins, but there was some mediocrity mixed in there between. I mean, there was some 7 and 9.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it's going to take a little bit for Kyler, I think, to really get the grasp of his system. It's not exactly Drew Brees picking things up from day one. I mean,
these are all these. You know what these sound like? First world motherfucking problems.
You're wanting to give up, a teens pick for a coach.
I'm sorry. I've seen what first round picks do with this team. I've seen this team succeed without first round picks. If I get Sean Payton back, F these picks. What's more important to F these picks than to get a Super Bowl head coach? You have the quarterback, and I think the roster is in really good shape after this year. This is a conversation for a different day. I don't want to get off topic. Look who they've developed. They've got really good it's the old players that are not succeeding for the Cardinals. Pugh and Rodney Hudson, right? And James Conner. It's the old players they gave money to that are unfortunately not holding up. The young players, you can make an argument, are lifting this team up outside of the Watts of the world. I would feel really good if I'm a Cardinal fan and I'm Sean Payton. Like, I don't need that pick because I've supplemented this roster. I think that's the biggest reason people are on Kliff right now. The talent is there to win. They just aren't winning. Now, how does Keim factor into that? Would he get fired? Would you give Payton probably a little bit of personnel say, especially on the offensive side? You'd be foolish not to if you're Michael Bidwell. But I feel like, to your point, and I'm not rooting for losses. I want Kliff to win this week, and I want to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
But if you start to lose, maybe to your point, maybe you do let go of Kliff early, and then you just start the recruiting process of, hey, Sean, how are you? Can we go out to dinner?
The biggest issue is, because you mentioned the first round picks. If you had a choice and you could rid yourself of one problem, is it Kliff or Keim?
So one or the other? I can't have both? Because I think both of them.
You could make the case that Keim cost this team at least one game this year with his negligent decision to ride with Matt Amendola?
Kliff has just looked. Maybe last year I would have gone with
Muff
Steve.
That punt for Dortch.
Kliff just looks so unprepared, Bo. Like, at least I've seen Steve
he's
put
part of the
together
problem.
playoff rosters, and Keim is not perfect. But Kliff just right now it feels like you're going like I don't like guns, but it feels like you're going into a gunfight with a little dull pocket knife right now with him starting games. I'm not a gun guy, but
you also sound like you're making up for a significant. You're trying to make excuses for a significant other that you just shouldn't be with any longer. You're like
you cannot let Steve Keim hire a fourth coach.
It's like he's great grilling. That's why I'm still with him.
That's not a fair question. I don't like that question. Don't put me in that position. It made me uncomfortable. But in all seriousness, if Kliff gets fired, Michael, what are you doing if you're not firing Steve Keim? Like it's time to reset. Promote Adrian Wilson
at this point, right?
Yeah. Until it happens, I don't. It's been with the organization since what 99, 2000.
Yeah. I didn't come to this Wednesday show looking to have this serious conversation about
shit's serious right now. Let's get serious. You
threw me off with the goddamn Sean Payton tracker at the bottom.
Oh, it's great though. It's great. We're going to get some fancy graphics for that here pretty soon if the Cardinals lose. But